film, right?
It's near the beginning. It's kind of, you know what it is it's David Costabile, who plays Doc McGee, their Motley Crue's band manager.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of his introduction scene.
Okay.
So, without giving too much away, what happens at the party, an incident unfolds where the band kind of has to defend David Lee Roth, and then Doc steps in, and you kind of get his introduction. So it's a fun scene. It was, like I said, it just felt like I was stepping back in time, sure. And it was truly a dream to play the role.
What is Dave doing with these unknowns?
So he's basically, they have just put themselves on the map. They're on the rise. They're, one of their concerts has just spread throughout the town, and the kind of word on the street is they're the next big thing.
Okay.
And so it's almost like, holy shit, David Lee Roth is at our party.
Wow.
Like, how did this happen? And I guess it was all, accurate. And he's partying with them, and he just all of a sudden just goes into one of his, his epic DLR rants where it's like half of it doesn't make sense, and then you realize that but it's all love, and he's just trying to make sure that they're good, mm-hmm. in terms of like where they're headed and what's coming at them.
Right. And in terms of, do you think Vince Neil was heavily influenced by Roth?
Yeah, I do. I think that I think to be Motley Crue is to live in the fear that you will never, ever be as good as Van Halen. I mean, I think that's what that one of their biggest influences, of course, and then I think to say, okay, this is happening, who is somebody that I want to be? And I think it was David Lee Roth, like 100%. And they're completely different people, right. But DLR was a performer. He was, everybody loves him and respects him, but at the same time, they just want to hear him speak. So
sure.
I think he definitely was a major influence on the band and the time in general, in terms of what it means to be a genuine rock star.
Sure. And how much research did you do? You said you watched a lot of YouTube clips. Did you read a lot and kind of get his vibe and in interviews and stuff?
It was a pretty quick turnover in terms of getting the role and filming it. So for me, it was in terms of research and in terms of being such a small role but such an important role. I just wanted to watch everything I could, and then YouTube is incredible. I highly recommend anyone going on YouTube and just going through the full catalog of David Lee Roth interviews, because it's the most entertaining thing you'll ever watch.
And
yeah, it truly is.
As you well know, Dave has a very specific, distinct voice. The minute you hear him talking, you know it's him. He's got a very distinct set. So how did you represent that?
Yeah, that was a really big challenge, because he has this cadence about him, and this I don't even know. It's almost like this accent that you can never ever place, and it's his voice is very. It almost sounds weathered, and
right.
It's got that raspiness to it.
Right.
That rock and roll kind of like the wow. The classic DLR scream. So
sure.
That was easily the biggest challenge. And I went really hard. I was like screaming into pillows the night before and trying to, like going in my car and like singing Van Halen songs as loud as I could, just to like feel that weathered tone. And then, of course, you have the ticky-tacky with the knives and the forks, and he has this. It's almost like this accent that he puts on, and so that was something that I really wanted to focus on. And what happened was when we got to the day, it was like, don't mimic him,
right?
But more so focus on his energy and the
right.
And because in the scene, there's coke. Everybody's coked out of their minds,
really?
And it's this really super high energy scene.
That's crazy.
So yeah, Jeff Tremaine, the director, pulled me aside and was just like, listen, I know you're really focused on how to bring his vocals into this, but just make it all about his energy and his aura,
right?
And let's focus on that. And so that was more important to him, and that was what we did. And to be honest with you, it's a blur. I don't really remember what happened or how it went down, but we'll see. We'll see when it comes out on the 22nd.
How long did you film for?
I was there for about a week.
Okay.
So yeah, and I had the one scene, so we finished that. We finished that in one day, but I got to meet the guys and hang with the guys and did hair and make. They really, really took their time with the makeup and the hair and the wardrobe, because I mean that's DLR. He was always decked out in the most ridiculous attire.
What about your body? Obviously, Dave's in incredible shape. Did you have to do any training or regiment or anything you had to work out to get yourself in a certain kind of shape? Or?
Yeah, what's funny is Dave. Dave, if you know anything about him, he's this martial artist.
Yeah.
And so I did a lot of martial arts when I was younger, and a lot of taekwondo and kung fu, and I don't really practice it all that much now, but I was inspired when I got the role, so I really just went back to my roots and kind of, because I wanted to be able to do his kick. That was like, even though I wasn't going to have to do it, I was like, I want to be able to do that. So I worked out. Yeah, I worked out really hard. He's shredded. I'm bulkier and bigger, but I really wanted to get my weight down and kind of be free and limber in that role, because I mean I can't do it. I can't do the scissor kick or the high kick like he can do it.
Sure.
But I wanted to get as close as I could. So yeah, definitely something that even though I didn't have to for the scene or for the, I would never have to do it. It was something that I really wanted to be able to do, just to feel what it would be like to fly off the cuff like DLR.
Absolutely. And in terms of, have you ever met Roth?
I haven't. That would be, I don't know if I can handle that. That's one of those starstruck things. It would be a dream, but no, I have not.
And now, was it nerve-wracking playing someone who's still alive?
Yeah, it was super hardcore. I still have nerves about the performance, because it's like it's there's nobody like him. He's a living legend, and I just hope I did it justice and was able to bring out his energy in some way, shape, or form, and to be able to facilitate the story that is Motley Crue and that whole time. But it was really like this surreal experience where I just felt like I sort of didn't have to do anything, and the set and the other actors, it was just so bizarre in terms of just stepping into that time period.
And in terms of the director, Jeff Tremaine, did he sit down and talk to you about it much? Did you have much of a discussion? I know he mentioned about the thing about the energy that you said, but was there, before you even started filming, was there any other discussions that you had with him, or did he give you any specific direction?
Jeff is incredible, and he's like the jackass guy. He's hilarious, and was the only thing he really said to me was, listen, on the day you're gonna be coked out, you're gonna be doing a lot of coke. So obviously for legal purposes we are gonna say that it's vitamin B, but I'm gonna get you a bunch of like fish scale blow, and you're gonna be coked out of your mind. And I knew he was fucking with me, but his whole thing was just like remember that energy, and remember that to just have fun with the role, because there's nobody who likes to have fun more than DLR. I mean, he's trying to make everybody laugh while also being like philosophical and a poet at the same time, and not, But Jeff was just really, really focused on, this movie is balls to the wall. It starts out with a bang, and it's 0 to
That's awesome.
So he was about that. He was about the energy and the pacing and fucking rock and roll from the get-go. So that was his focus.
Were Nicky and Tommy or any of the crew guys on set? Did you meet them?
Yeah, I met Tommy. He was there with his girlfriend, and that was legendary. He was in the pit watching all the dailies, but I didn't get to hang out with him all that much. Just to see him though, and to see he's still a fucking rock star, and it's pretty cool, man.
Incredible. Now, also, how would you describe Dave's relationship with the crew? What was it? I guess he was like a mentor. You said he was always giving them advice, or like obviously he was friendly though, but it wasn't like competitive.
No. If anything, I would say he's more of a father figure.
Okay.
I think Dave knows who he is, and
right.
I think he's confident that Van Halen is the greatest band of all time. So it was more of, guys, watch out, because the record labels are going to try to take your soul, and just be ready for that, because it's off to the races now. You guys are the next big thing, and, you got to have a good head on your shoulders, and also in terms of what can happen in the band. You have to protect yourselves and protect the band at all costs, because you're going to be in for some high-stress situations, so I hope you guys are ready for what's coming. And, everybody knows the story. It's like, that's probably the hardest part, as a band who hits gold, hits the mega.
Absolutely.
Like, you guys have the grit and the balls to stick with it and fight through the bullshit.
And in terms of, what was the most fun part of playing Dave?
I think the most fun I had was the first time that I walked on the set, because they did such an incredible job transforming me into DLR that people who, like I said, who were fans of Van Halen and who grew up, like all the people the crew on the set who lived that era and worships Van Halen, were just like, oh my God, like that, like it's you, it's Dave. And, so to have that feeling of being not just a rock star, but, like, in my opinion, the greatest rock star in terms of the word.
Right.
That was the coolest, most invigorating feeling that I've had playing any role.
Absolutely. And also, in terms of, Dave has a certain wit and swagger about him, and was it hard to capture?
Super hard, because I'm not I'm not witty or I'm not. He's almost like the Robin Williams of rock stars. He's just everything that comes out. Like, his mind is going a mile a minute.
Yeah.
But he's smart. He's smart. Like he's ADD, but he's smart, and that was something that I really, really wanted to come across. Just his spontaneity, his in the moment, and his vibe of. I mean, if David Lee Roth wasn't a rock star, he'd be a fucking comedian. He's a genius.
That's true.
That was something I really wanted to do.
What would you say was the hardest part?
The hardest part for me was his vocal pattern.
Okay.
That was really, really difficult, and at the end of the day, it was something that we really didn't want to focus on. It was interesting how that kind of just didn't come into play in terms of the party and everything that's going on in the scene. But just to have, that vibe of his, that was difficult, because it is very specific. And I tried to emulate it, and then it was like, no, just let it go and represent him and his aura and his overall vibe. So that was something that, I don't know if it worked or not, but we'll find out.
And what do you want people to take away from your performance?
I hope that people, especially people who don't know, because I didn't know much about Dave before the role, and so people who don't really know, they might know the music of Van Halen, but people who don't know David Lee Roth, I just wanted them to be inspired to look into the legend that is Dave, and because I'll tell you what, it was the most fun I've had researching a role ever. I mean, watching those interviews, I would watch them right now.